Welcome back to the Whatnauts Reactor Corps number 29. My name is Kyle Springer, and I am joined, as always, by Melissa Wilkinson. Melissa, how's it going?
Des mostly. I wasn't here last week.
You were not. We had Ignacio Rojas fill in. He wanted to be here this week. I think he was originally planning, but he said that he could not make it this week. So we are soldiering on without him, but he is here in spirit. Melissa, we are here to react to the finale of Falcon and Winter Soldier. I loved this show. It was wonderful. What did you think of the finale, though?
It had a lot of surprises in it. There were people who were dead who I thought would live, and people who were alive who I thought surely should have died by now.
Sure, yeah. I liked this one. It was serviceable. I don't think the finale was great, if that makes sense. I still really enjoyed it, and like I mentioned, I enjoyed the show. So yeah, let's dive into it a little bit more. I think I want to start with Sharon. Let's start with Sharon Carter. What's up with her? What's your thoughts on Sharon Carter?
First of all, I'm glad she's alive because she got shot in the stomach, and so often that's a wound in a movie that will kill you. But I guess it just grazed her, because you see her later and she just has like a washcloth held against her stomach.
She's
like, no, I'm fine.
Girl.
I don't need to go to the hospital.
She is a tough girl. Yeah, so if I guess that was the big reveal for her, is that she is the power broker.
Yes.
I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest. I feel like that is maybe not the best decision. Now, I know there are some people out there being like, well, she never explicitly said it. But I think we can absolutely read this scene as, hey, she is the power broker. What do you think about that? Is that who
I think
you were
that is
expecting?
An interesting take for her character. I think that will give her more to do than to just go back to the Agent Carter as we initially met her.
I gotcha.
The Sharon Carter. Agent Carter is her aunt. Right. That was the TV show she got to have. I think that's an interesting concept, to have this character who the narrative of the MCU at large kind of let fall by the wayside for a long time, and that happened to her personally in her own life. You know, she was made a criminal. She had to go on the run from her country, from her family, and she turns to crime. And even when she gets pardoned and she's got her job back, she's stuck in that mindset. Like, she can't just switch back. Like, she gained too much power as the power broker, and she's not ready to give that up. And it's I'm excited to see what she does with it. How, if she's still going to be ruled by the dollar, like, who will just pay me the most? I'll give you weapons and secret technology. Or if she does have something benevolent she wants to do with it.
I think they're absolutely setting her up as an antagonist, and I'm okay with that direction. I don't think they've explained it in a way that really makes sense yet. And I think that is maybe my overall thing with this show, is like, hey, I'm fine with the directions that they're going in this. I don't know if everything that happened by the end of this show was fully earned. And we'll get into some more things that I think that were not earned in a bit. But with her, the only stuff that we know for sure is that in Endgame they said she was blipped. Now, it could be revealed down the road that she was not. That's fine. But for right now, we have to believe that she was not there for those 5 years, which then means she set herself up as the power broker in 2 years? I don't I don't know if I necessarily believe that. Not that she's not capable, but the fact that she is so ingrained in this like criminal society. I don't know if that is there yet.
What if this is like a Dread Pirate Roberts scenario where she wasn't the original power broker? Like it was someone else,
yeah.
And that title got passed to her.
Yeah, like no one really knew who the original power broker was, and so she took over. Yeah, that could absolutely happen. It just, I think for what they've given us so far, it was a little bit just like, I don't know yet. Not fully convinced. But I have to give credit to Paris Lily from Kind of Funny, who mentioned on their reactions that he thinks they're setting her up to be the antagonist of Armor Wars. Which would be fascinating, and I think that is brilliant. Because if she now has access to all of this government secrets and technology and stuff, that would be a way for her to, get all that stuff out there, out to the public. Or it's like, hey, there's no more super soldier serums, but man, we sure do have a lot of Stark tech, and something like that could work. So we'll see what happens with her down the road, but I'm sure she will be back very soon. Let's see. Let's move on to Jod Walker.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's still alive.
Yeah, you were expecting him to
I've
bite
never
the
quite
dust.
known how to feel about this character, what the narrative wants us to feel about this character. He's very rich. Like there's a lot of facets to him. And it seemed at the beginning like, oh, maybe this is a good guy who's just in very bad circumstances being fed very bad information, and that sort of tainted his worldview. Then he brutally kills a guy who's crying for help in the city streets. And then he makes that Captain America outfit and shield. And it seems like in this episode, all he intended to use that for was to avenge Lamar, which kind of makes sense. Like Lamar was so happy, so proud of him. His best friend was named Captain America. I can understand John wanting to like get that identity back for this final mission. And then maybe he thinks he is done being Captain America. Maybe he's like, okay, I'll take that order. I've got one more thing I want to do as Captain America, and it's to take down the people who killed Lamar. I was perplexed that he and Bucky and Sam were just running around like normal in this episode.
Right.
Like I was expecting a scene of confrontation where they're like, what are you doing? But instead there's like, okay, we got another ally in this fight. And I understand like this is a high stress scenario. And maybe John Walker has proven himself enough at this point that you're like, okay, we can count on you to have our backs in this one final fight. We think this could be the end of it. Like we really need to make this final push to stop the Flag Smashers. Yeah, nobody talks to him about what is that? What are you doing?
Because that's the thing. Yeah, they set him up as such a antagonist. I want to say villain. I don't know if I can fully say villain. I think he is in my mind, but they try to set him up, with that like sympathetic scene. I think it was in episode 2 of like, man, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. Like maybe this is, and so like he has good intentions, but he's obviously going about them the wrong way, and he's just making really poor decisions. And we think he's going to be continuing that in this one, and then in the heat of the moment he has this thing where he's like, I can go after Carly and avenge Battlestar, or I can save this school bus full of people or whoever's in there. And he ends up choosing the right thing, which is an interesting choice for the character at that moment. There is a way to be like, okay, there's still some good in you there. I don't know if that makes him still fully sympathetic yet. And basically the resolution to that ends up being, well, he gets a no suit and he's just being like, I'm back. Yeah, everything's good. It's great. It's wonderful. Sunshine and rainbows.
So
and just like,
perplexed.
huh? This is what is going on here? This makes no sense. I mean,
one
last thing. Just to add on that, like, I'm fine where that ends up to him to feel like he hasn't learned the consequences yet, but it really felt like we skipped 2 or 3 steps to get there, and it was just like, okay, I'm missing something. So all
I want to say about that final scene where he steps out as U.S. agent. Why are they in that courtroom again? I understand what that scene is. I cannot understand why it is set there. Why aren't they like
probably
at the Walker's house
COVID.
Or at a hotel the Contessa rented? I don't understand how they got access back to that empty courtroom.
It might also be the schedule for, I don't know how to pronounce her name. Louise Dreyfus, however you say it.
Yeah, Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
It might just be like, hey, we have you for this one day. We're already at this location.
Only in one building.
It's already lit. Yeah, stuff like that. It might just be all of that, and just like, hey, let's just get this done with here.
I didn't understand it. That took me out of the thing entirely. It's days, weeks later. Why are they back there? That's not a place where you take somebody to give them a new costume and have them changed.
Let's go change in the courtroom. That makes sense, right?
Yeah. Yeah, where the jury debates. I'm going to put on new pants.
I think it's interesting that he has a line when he has that suit on that I think should have had a lot more power to the whole thing, but it didn't. He mentions, he's like, hey, I'm in this no suit. It's black, but it's the same thing. And it's just with the whole the themes that this show was dealing with of, can Sam Wilson be the next Captain America? Is America ready for a black Captain America? I feel like that line maybe should have had a little more meaning behind it, and I don't feel like it did there, or just had that like double entendre thing there, but they just kind of skate right over it. So I don't know.
In perplexing. So I mentioned that I think he should have died. Not that I wanted him to die necessarily. It's just that when the story was starting, that was the arc I guessed his character might have. He's like this anti-hero, this guy on the edge. You don't know how to feel about him. And maybe he does do that one last good act and then he dies. And you still know how to feel about him, but you're like, well, at least he went out all right, and he's not a problem anymore. That's what I was expecting to happen, and he's still around, which I don't mind. He's really interesting. Yeah. I imagine they do have like a much longer arc in mind for this guy. He also seems ill, and I thought maybe like he would just blow himself out with the super soldier serum. Like maybe he had some pre-existing condition, and it's exacerbating that. I thought he would have died by something in this episode.
Yeah, it seems like he has a obsessive personality and has just unfortunately been radicalized by both the government and the military. And I thought he was almost going to have a moment of clarity where Sam is giving his speech, and he mentions the line like, when I take up this shield or I put this costume on, I expect millions of people to hate me. And immediately when he said that line, they showed Jod Walker, and he had this like, like look on his face. Like I didn't think about it in that perspective. Whereas I think he thought of it more as, hey, if I put on this suit, everyone will love me. And that's just not how it turned out for him. And so I thought he was going to have this thing of like, hey, you're right. like I was going about this all wrong. I'm gonna give up the mantle and do that. But again, we don't see that necessarily.
Yeah, he might have. That might have all happened in his head, and they just didn't show us.
Who knows?
Him saying that.
But yeah. So who knows exactly what they'll do with him? I think they are setting up the Thunderbolts. I was expecting to see a little bit more at the raft. I was kind of disappointed that we didn't see Thunderbolt Ross there. At least to see him. I know we know that the actor, I don't remember his name, the actor that played Abomination in the Hulk movies is going to be in the She-Hulk show.
The Lie to Me guy.
I don't remember his name, but that could have been another thing of like, oh, he's in the cell right next to Zemo, or something like that. But I don't know. To me, I really wanted to see Thunderbolt Ross. That was the one I was like, just for a quick second, like, give me him.
I was listening to something today saying that Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character is supposed to be in Black Widow.
Yes.
And how her appearance would have had a greater impact on us if the original production schedule had been held and Black Widow would have been released before Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Indeed.
So I wonder if maybe once we see Black Widow, which we know Thunderbolt Ross is going to be in, that we are going to see some puppet strings that just aren't clear to us now.
Absolutely. Yeah. Last week with Ignacio, I kept saying that was confirmed that she was going to be in Black Widow. I think upon second look, it's not necessarily confirmed.
Okay.
But that is the rumor. There was some major speculation there, but yeah, that I think would make sense that they are now starting to set something up, because I know people often like to compare Guardians of the Galaxy and that type of humor to what DC is hoping to do with the new Suicide Squad, especially since it's James Gunn on both of them, but the Thunderbolts is literally Marvel's Suicide Squad. So
okay.
I can see them being like, hey, let's actually make a competitor for that where Guardians of the Galaxy does actually do more galactic Marvel cosmic stuff. So we'll see with that. But besides some of my hesitation or disappointment with all the stuff we've mentioned so far, the rest of it I thought was amazing. It was so
good action,
good.
Yeah.
The fight scenes were great. I loved Sam's speech that he had there to the politicians and them on TV. I loved it. I thought it was wonderful. I cannot wait to see where this goes next.
Yeah, I was very excited to see that final end credit title changes to Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
Great touch. So good.
How do you feel about Sam's new outfit?
I like it. That is very comics accurate.
Okay, I imagine it is. I think it looks great in this episode because it's so vibrant and high contrast and like lots of patches of like bright white on the costume. And this is kind of like a dark episode in terms of lighting. They're fighting in a lot of unlit or poorly lit spaces.
Yeah. And here he is, this like shining beacon of hope and light. And
and like he floats down with Carly's body like an angel. It's a beautiful shot. It lends itself to all of that very well. But his costume makes me think about how, like, in the first Avengers movie, Steve's costume was, like, super vibrant. And then in the next movie, it's like, let's tone this down a little bit. And it's a little bit more muted.
It is a TV show. You have to kind of remember that. And, Yeah, and I think because there was a lot of talk out there that this had to go through a lot of reshoots because they had a whole subplot about a virus, and they thought with COVID that might not go over so well. So it seems like they might have changed a bunch of stuff. I don't know how true that is, but yeah, I can see them like spending more money on choreography and action sequences rather than like, okay, let's do the post-production to really make this fit in color wise exactly like we want it to.
I like his costume a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it for this. I don't think I like it as much as the original Falcon outfit is my only thing.
Okay. That's fair.
It's symbolically wonderful. It looks great in this context. I'm just curious if that's going to be the look he's going to stick with in perpetuity.
Yeah. We'll have to see. But there was some news that came out today. Apparently, Captain America 4 is in production. They have officially greenlit the 4th Captain America movie, and it will star Sam Wilson as Captain America.
Excellent.
So I think that was a great decision on their part. I think this show was a wonderful story, but even for people that didn't watch it, the timeline will still make sense because assuming they watched Endgame and all of that stuff, last they heard was that, hey, Sam Wilson, you deserve the shield, right? And so then next they see him, here he is with the shield. And it's like, oh, that makes sense. And then there is the like, hey, if you want the extra information on how he was struggling with that, then you can go see all of that. Last but not least, Isaiah Bradley. How did you feel about his stuff in this one? Because I cried.
Yeah, I appreciated it a lot. I did question how quickly it would take somebody to make that life-size statue of him, because it seems like this is a couple days later.
Yeah. True that.
But yeah, it was very sweet. I love to see him and his grandson holding hands there, seeing the exhibit in the museum.
Little Eli. My mom just texted me. They just finished number 4. So I am sending them an Easter egg thing so they can make sure they get all of the connections and stuff there. So
nice.
There you go. Yeah, I guess the only thing is we don't know exactly how long that is after that big fight. It could have been a couple weeks, could have been a month, stuff like that. We don't know, but yeah, I'm happy that he got the addition to the museum. That scene absolutely made me cry. It is a wonderful, touching moment, and I'm glad that Eli got a little bit more lines than just answering the door there, because I really hope they are setting up young Avengers. I would love to see him as Patriot. So
yeah, it seems like that is a direction they're going in. I'm curious how long it's going to take them to put this together. I think I heard someone saying, oh, I hoped, he was going to get more to do. Like he'd step into a Captain America type role by the end of this episode. And I'm like, he said 10 sentences with Sam.
Right, yeah.
Like, I know he's supposed to be the next generation, but at this point, him and Sam really barely know each other.
Yeah.
So hopefully down the line, as that team grows, I'm sure he'll stop by to visit Isaiah Bradley, invite him down to the boat, have some shrimp with us. They'll get to know each other better, and that's how Eli will step into that role, I think.
There you go. Yeah, I think if they do Young Avengers, it will be more of a TV show. I don't necessarily think they're setting all that up for a movie. Whereas the Thunderbolts, I could see them setting that up for a movie instead of a show. But who knows? We shall see. I think that almost wraps us up. This has been a phenomenal show. I cannot wait for Loki.
Very impressive.
Yeah. Hopefully with Loki, I'm hoping the ending to that show is a little bit stronger, because I think that has maybe been some of the weaker spots in WandaVision and now Falcon and Winter Soldier. And supposedly season 2 of Loki is being talked about. So who knows? Who knows? We'll see. I'm sure we'll get some more news about that down the road. Before we get out of here, let's do a quick bit of housekeeping. If you guys did not know, we have multiple podcasts here at the Whatnauts. You guys can find out more information on our website, which is thewhatnauts.com. As well as your favorite podcasting platform of choice. Just type in the Whatnauts and all of our shows will pop up right there. If you like what we do, patreon.com/thewhatnauts is where you can support us for as little as $1 a month. We have a $3 tier with all kinds of exclusive content. This past week, we just updated our video game fantasy draft, which was a lot of fun. So go check that out. And coming soon, we're hoping to record us making bingo cards for the review show, which is one of our other podcasts. It's a book club style show. We cover all sorts of stuff. And I thought it'd be fun to, like, in the background of us, like, watching these movies and shows, what if we play bingo on, like, movie tropes and stuff like that? Was there a love triangle? Yes. Okay, I have that square,
Did a chandelier fall from the ceiling and crush somebody?
Exactly.
X for you.
Exactly. So I think we're going to be coming up with what all the stuff is that might fill in these squares on that one. But last but not least, a big shout out to our Patreon supporters at the $5 tier. So thank you, Sam, for all your support, and thank you to Greg Miller as well. Thank you so much for all of your support. I guess last but not least thing, I know I said last thing, you guys can also support us here on Twitch if you guys like the live streams. Twitch.tv/thewhatnauts is where you could find us. And yeah, that is it. So Melissa, where can the people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Wilkywit. That's WILKYWIT. And listen to my other podcast, Saturday Morning Obscurities.
Go. You guys can find me at Yo Kyle Springer on Twitter. If you guys want to stay up to date with all of our shows, you guys can find us at The Whatnauts on Twitter. If you are watching us live on Twitch right now, we will not be back next week for the Reactor Corps because the Falcon and Winter Soldier is done. However, no promises, but I'm trying to put together a spoiler cast for Invincible. I've been watching that show, and it is amazing, and I think we should absolutely talk about that. I know Gino has been watching it too, so if nothing else, it'll be me and Gino. But yeah, we're trying to do that. Also be on the lookout. We've done a number of trailer reactions on our YouTube, including the recent one for Shang-Chi. And Ignacio is asking no Reactor Corps for Mortal Kombat. Ignacio, we can. I don't know if I'd be able to record that until like Monday, if that's something you want to do with me. We'll
I'm not watching it with my movie Discord until Wednesday. Okay. That's our normal movie night. Okay. We're just going to put it in there.
So yeah, again, no promises on that, but we'll see what we can do. But yeah, so we have some stuff with that down the road. I mentioned all of the trailer reactions because those have been on YouTube exclusively for now, though we have enough of them that I am planning on stitching those together as a podcast, and that will go out on the podcast feed as well. Yeah, I think that is a lot of stuff, a lot of information. So I think it's about time we just like be vegetables, and after this, do the captain's log and chill and hang out. So if you are joining us here on Twitch, we will be right back. We will get set up for our next podcast that we are recording after this. So stick around. And if you're just here for the Reactor Corps, we will see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.